I would just say that if anybody's on the fence about it, give it a try because the jumps, you never think that you're going to make that many big jumps in 30 days, but the fact that it's so organized so efficiently that you're doing the same, you're doing your stances. So by the time you get done and you're doing 30 days of stances, and then 21 days of receiving, getting feedback for that many times, like I couldn't even imagine if I took him to a catching coach a couple times a week or something, how much that would be. But the fact that he's getting feedback 30 days in a row and now he has that stuff to just keep doing and he knows the foundation. So now it's just building on it. Like hands down, it was one of the biggest jumps and you know, for him that I saw in confidence.
Hi, I'm Liam. I play a lot of catcher, but in my other positions, I'm usually third base or outfield.
I love it. And how old are you and where are you from?
I'm 11 years old. I'm from Titusville, Florida.
I love it. Okay. And then do you want to introduce yourself too?
Sure.
And I'm 12.
I'm Matt Michaels, Liam's dad and coach, also from Titusville, Florida.
I love it. And how did you guys find out about me?
Liam especially had been watching a lot of your videos and shorts and stuff. And then we saw one of the ads and we had seen an ad for a catcher's clinic that was like a 1 day or 2 day course that was like a bunch of money. And we were skeptical about it because it seemed like a sales pitch type thing. And I had talked to one of my other coaches and he said, "Oh, Coach Bougie has one of the classes." And I said, "I think I saw it." So we went back and looked at it, kind of read over it, and then we called you, had a meeting, and it seemed exactly what we were looking for. Where when you broke it down and you said, "Hey, we're going to focus on what we do most, and then we're just going to keep repeating those so you get the most instances, and then we go into receiving, right? Then we go into blocking, then we go into throwing." That made perfect sense. And then to be able to get the instant feedback every day was sounded like it was going to be way more for the money versus just paying like $400 for a 2 day course where they have like 600 people and they just run them through a bunch of drills.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. Okay, very cool. And so, Liam, let's come to you. What were some of the main challenges that you were having when it comes to catching before we started working together?
My legs were always like curved in, so like I didn't really like that. And I was trying to find a way to fix that. And the mobility drills really helped me with that too.
So cool. So cool, man. And then what would you say from everything that you were seeing, Matt? What were some of the big challenges that you saw him having?
A lot of it was like he just said. A lot of it was mobility. That was probably the toughest part. But it was. I think he's played catcher for a while now, but there was no proper training. It was just me and a couple other coaches out there doing the best that we could with what we could, like learning stuff on YouTube or different things like that, and trying to figure out what it looked like to go out there and be a catcher.
Yeah.
So trying to just do basic fundamentals. But then once we did this and I got to see, your feedback videos and you talking about that needs to be a shelf or that needs to be an M, that made it way easier and it was like, oh, cool. This is what we need to do. So it
Um,
was us trying the best we could without proper instruction.
yeah. Very cool. Okay. And then when it comes to actually like doing the stuff, Liam, what, like, if you had to describe to someone what it was like actually practicing every day, what would you say?
It was definitely a little hard to keep up with the consistency from school. I'm getting home at like 3 o'clock. I got baseball practice at like 5. We gotta leave at 5. And so like and I got homework too. And so it's kinda hard to keep up with the consistency. But it helps out a lot because like that helped a lot because I learned how to throw down on my knees. I learned how to like slide when I'm blocking properly. I learned a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What was the hardest part about the consistency, and how did you figure out, because you were super consistent, what did you do to actually help you do the work every day?
I tried to like, if I couldn't get it done while I was at the house, I would try to get it done while I was at practice. So, and then I would sometimes do it in like that 2 hour time span between practice when I get home and practice,
Nice. And how long did it take you every day, roughly?
about 5, 7 minutes.
Yeah,
To do the
pretty
video, yeah.
pretty quick. That's awesome. Matt, what about you? How would you describe what the actual process was like every day?
Overall, I think the fact that it built on itself and that every day there was just one small video to watch. But then when you actually did your video, you did your stance series and you did your receiving series, and then you did one new drill a day
Yeah.
or one new movement a day.
Hmm.
So it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't too much. So I think being able to do consistently, just, you're doing the repetition every day. So you're going to do your stance series, you're going to do all that stuff. So that started to get easy, and you're just adding one new thing a day. And then you're watching your feedback videos before we go out there. So, you know, he had a lot for a while, he had a lot trying to get that glove flat, and then watching the videos and being able to talk to him before he actually did the drills and say, no, 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 remember, we want to get that glove flat. And so there was like, one new movement a day and then a little bit of feedback that you had to remember. Besides that, it was just repetition. It made everything nice and simple, easy to film, easy to do.
So cool. Now, what would you say, Liam? We'll come to you first on this. What's the biggest difference that you've seen in your performance and your catching?
Oh, there's a lot. Probably my single knee. Definitely my primary and secondary too, because I used to have my legs curved on those, and now I'm getting them straight, and it looks so much better.
I love it. How do you feel? Like, what's the difference in how you feel behind the plate?
I feel a lot more like comfortable and safe because like I know I can reach those areas that really wasn't able to before.
That's so cool. Matt, what about you?
I think definitely, well, it was funny right before while we were waiting to get on this call, I went back and I was showing him his breakdown video first day one.
Yep.
And we watched his breakdown video the last day that we just did. I'd say definitely his stances and blocking, being able to slide out and block and get some of those things. It's going to be huge because we haven't really had too much gameplay yet. We're starting our tournaments in like 2 weeks, but his confidence behind the plate, for sure. And everyone on the team seems to be looking at him a little bit differently. Like he's a beast when we're in the cages and he's catching some bullpens and stuff. And his movements, he's practicing everything, sliding off to the side, and you can tell he's just dialed in and focused. And it feels like it almost sets him apart from a lot of the other kids that catch.
So cool. And then you guys had a cool story too about like one of your coaches or like a team that you filled in for. Didn't you have something cool like that?
Yeah, so he did a USSSA prospect tournament. And so they basically took 72 kids from all over the southeast and merged them onto a bunch of teams, like 6 teams. And then they had coaches from, like, our coach was from Georgia, and then we had a bunch of kids from all over Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina, Florida. And we played in the tournament, and this is about halfway through, so we had only done receiving and stances really. But he came out there and he earned a spot as one of the 2 main catchers for the team. There was probably 4 or 5 catchers on the team, and he balled out and earned, I think he caught probably half the innings of the entire tournament.
That's awesome. Way to go, man. That is so cool. That is so cool. Um, well, very cool. Do you guys have any other notes or feedback or anything that you want to share about the program?
I would just say that if anybody's on the fence about it, give it a try, because the jumps, you never think that you're going to make that many big jumps in 30 days. But the fact that it's so organized so efficiently that you're doing the same, you're doing your stances. So by the time you get done and you're doing 30 days of stances, and then 21 days of receiving, getting feedback for that many times, like I couldn't even imagine if I took him to a catching coach a couple times a week or something, how much that would be. But the fact that he's getting feedback 30 days in a row, and now he has that stuff to just keep doing, and he knows the foundation. So now it's just building on it. Like, hands down, it was one of the biggest jumps for him that I saw in confidence. He got some new gear out of it, because in your feedback he said, hey, it looks like your legs are a little short, and we looked at them and they were a little short, so he got to get some new gear out of the deal too. So
Yeah, we did get a new chest, but we still got to break it.
I like it. That's looking sharp, man.
Yeah.
I love those shin guards too.
Yeah.
They're pretty slick. They're pretty
Yeah.
slick.
Yeah, they match the colors because we got new uniforms for this season, and they matched our Sunday uniform
Yeah,
or our Saturday. I
he's
forgot.
he's on a select team. We're going to Cooperstown this summer. Yeah.
Let's go. So cool. Well, thank you guys. This is awesome.